You're going to call the meeting to order? Okay.
11 o'clock, 10:59.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is reading and approval of October 14th, 2020 minutes. Zoila?
There being a quorum on October 14, 2020, Shirley Collinsworth called the meeting to order at 11:03 a.m. In attendance were Shirley Collinsworth, Steve Cockenworth, Shirley Donaldson, Zoila Gracia, Tony Ortiz, and Sherry Hooden-Soley. Don Doolin and Lynn Dunlap were absent. Judith Sarabia, RSVP coordinator, also was present. Zoila Gracia motion to excuse the absences of the RSVP Advisory Council members who are absent. Shirley Collinsworth seconded the motion. A vote was taken and it was passed unanimously. Secretary Zoila Gracia read the minutes of the July 2020 RSVP Advisory Council meeting minutes. Shirley Hooden-Soley motion to approve the minutes as corrected. Shirley Donaldson, second the motion. A vote was taken and it passed unanimously. Discussion and action regarding the completion and annual volunteer station survey. Judy Sarabia explained that the RSVP station surveys are distributed yearly and that advisory council members normally assist in distributing them. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Judy said she will email or otherwise contact the volunteer stations managers herself this year in order to minimize personal contact. Shirley Hooden-Soley motion that Judy's plan to get the annual volunteer station survey completed be approved. Zoila Gracia seconded the motion. A vote was taken and it passed unanimously. Discussion regarding the RSVP survey that are normally distributed to volunteer stations in order for feedback from person receiving services from them. Judy Sarabia stated that after discussing the distribution of surveys with Anthony Montes, they would not be distributed at this time of the year due to the COVID-19 social distancing guidelines that volunteer stations are observing by not having consumers fill out paperwork or even come into the building. Anthony Montes will oversee their distribution during the second half of the current fiscal year. An exception will be at the Ruidoso Downs Senior Center and Ruidoso Downs Meal on Wheels program because they distribute their own surveys with RSVP's main survey questions incorporated into them. The survey's results are then shared with the RSV program. Discussion regarding the postponement of annual RSVP training luncheon usually held yearly in October. Judy Sarabia stated that although preliminary discussions were held regarding this training, the discussion had been made up to postpone the training until the second half of the current fiscal year due to COVID-19 restrictions. The discussion regarding cancellations of the 2020 RSVP Appreciation Social Dinner, usually held yearly in December, Judy Sarabia stated that as with other activities, the annual 2020 RSVP Appreciation Dinner normally held in December has been canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Discussion regarding the end of the fiscal year Corporation for National and Security Services, CNCS, progress report that was due on July 30, 2020. and of the fiscal year 2020 and of the fiscal year Aging and Long-Term Services Department, ALTD SD, report that was due on August 3rd, 2020. Judy Saravia said that both of these reports were completed and submitted by the deadline. Discussion of the RSVP sponsor fiscal year 2020-2021 Martin Luther King Code Drive service projects that will begin in December 2020. Judy Saravia stated that the Martin Luther King Code Drive, co-sponsored by RSVP and Christian Services in collaboration with Evergreen Cleaners, will proceed as planned. A flyer will be sent out with information on donating codes as in years past, while observing the COVID-19 restrictions. The advisory council members discussed the possibility of assisting with the project by placing bins in local businesses and picking up donated items on a regular basis, as well as taking used items to Evergreen Cleaners for cleaning prior to donating them to Children's Services for distribution. Judy Saravia stated that she will take the feedback into consideration while planning the project and thank the council members for volunteering to assist with the project. She will contact the council members closer to the start of the project to let them know they may help. Discussion regarding quarterly fiscal year 2019-2020 and end of fiscal year program statistics. Judy Saravia reported that 2,376 hours were served from July to September 2020, compared to 6,330 hours during the same quarter a year ago. Therefore, there were 3,954 less hours serving during the quarter compared to last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Only 68 volunteers served this quarter compared to 174 last year during the same quarter. It is also significant to note that only 6 volunteer stations of the 15 total reported any hours during this quarter. The July 2019 to June 2020 fiscal year hours were 18,720 compared to the July 2018 to June 2019, 23,938. Therefore, the 2019 to 2020 grand total hours are approximately 5,218 less hours served than last year grand total due to the COVID-19 pandemic that has negatively affected the volunteer service hours. New and old business. Judy Saravia stated that advisory council member Don Doolittle is currently in a rehabilitation facility due to the health issues. She said that she has been in contact with him and he is stable, and it is hoped that he will be able to return to the RSVP council meeting in the future. With no further business to discuss, Shirley Collinsworth motion to adjourn the meeting at 11:39 a.m. Zoila Gracia second the motion. A vote was taken and it passed unanimously. Respectfully submitted, Zoila Gracia, Secretary.
Okay, do we have a motion to pass the minutes?
I motion.
I could hear her garbling talk, but I couldn't understand a word she said. I meant for you to call me on my land phone.
Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second it.
I will call you right back, Shirley.
Thank you.
Cherry, you motioned?
Motion to approve.
I don't have Shirley's.
And
Lynn?
Lynn seconded.
Yeah, just get it from her.
Let me try to call her back here. I don't have Shirley's home phone. I don't have her home phone number.
You want to call her and get it, and then you can call?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
Shirley? Shirley, are you there? Hello?
Did you understand?
Oh, there was disconnection, so, well, there's still all of us, so, okay, we'll just continue. Okay, so it was, motion by Sherry and seconded by Lynn?
Cherry and a second by Lynn.
Okay,
Okay, also one for the reading of the minutes.
what's that?
That's what we did. We approved the minutes.
That was what it was for, approval of the minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is, discussion and action regarding RSVP open meetings resolution for 2021. The open meetings resolution that we have, there was a little bit of update from the village council, but every year we have to do an open meetings resolution showing the days and times of the year that we're gonna have the meetings, and it needs to be passed and sent to the Village of Ruidoso clerk. And it was signed by Soila, board secretary, and Shirley Collinsworth, chairperson, and it was approved on the 8th day of January 2000. Or no, that was last year. It was sent in, so all of that is taken care of. Judy Sarabi had sent that in before she had left, so that was all taken care of on her side. The next item on the agenda is the,
What action do you require on that then?
discussion and action. Okay, so then I guess there does need to be that was the discussion that it needs to be sent in every year to show the meeting, so it's to the public. So then the action would be, how do y'all usually do that? Do you
No.
approve? Okay, well, it'd be probably approval that you all agree that it'd be okay to be sent to the village.
Yeah, and we could say also that until further notice, we're having the meetings here.
Yes, that would be probably for our new or old business. So,
No, you have
Unanimously
it
approved?
on that sheet, right?
I approve.
okay, so Lynn approves that.
I'll second.
Tony seconded.
Oh, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
Yes, Sherry, we will discuss that in the new or old business.
Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion regarding status of volunteer station surveys. What I went ahead and did for the station surveys, are you good back there, Steve?
I was trying to turn the volume up on the TV.
Okay, can you hear us okay now? Yeah, I got it. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so the next item on the agenda, discussion regarding status of volunteer station surveys. What I did is I went ahead and I sent surveys out to Christian Services, to the Lincoln County Food Bank, and to the Ruidoso Downs Meals on Wheels. Those surveys are needed every year to do the reporting to show the food security of our people in the community, because that's one of our performance measures. So I needed those surveys every year. Since we weren't able to send them out last year, I went ahead and got with the programs and got them to fill a few out. I got the surveys back from Christian Services, and I got some back from Lincoln County Food Bank. And today I will go pick up the ones from the Meals on Wheels program in Ruidoso Downs. So that should get us enough surveys to get us through the rest of this year, because we had still a few that we had already had on hand. So
Could you just repeat, if you want me to, do you want me to write it down, or you got it?
Yeah, it's pretty basic. I just got sent out surveys to Lincoln County Food Bank, Christian Services, and Meals on Wheels, and received some of them back, and I will receive the rest of them back today, so that we can use them for reporting. We actually have to show the Corporation for National and Community Services that people are showing food security for the year by receiving these meals through our volunteer activities that most of you all provide, handing these meals out, the food boxes and the hot meals and stuff like that. So next item on the agenda is discussion regarding the RSVP sponsored Martin Luther King National Day of Service Coat Drive project taking place from December 1st, 2020 to January 18th, 2021. The coat drive has been off and running. We have received tons of coats.
Fantastic.
A lot of them to Christian Services, I believe, directly to them. And then we have a bin set outside of Albertsons, or inside, like in the beginning, the entrance of Albertsons, and one in Walgreens, that some of our volunteers have been picking up the coats, and they've been bringing them to the Ruidoso Community Center, where we've photographed them, and just to show how many we've received, and we've received a lot of them. There's been tons, and we actually, I myself, have taken them to Evergreen Cleaners, and they have donated their services to clean them for us, so that way we can then pick them up and take them to Christian Services for disbursement.
So would you say 1,000?
I would say probably on our side of it, probably about a good, I don't think it's 1,000 or so, probably like 400. And then with Tony, I don't know, Tony, you being at Christian Services, how many coats do you think you have received over there?
We get a whole bunch of coats.
That's good.
People are donating a lot of clothing.
Yeah, I would say so 300 to 400 probably total. But then again, the coat drive actually ends this Monday, so we're still receiving them. So I won't know actual counts from Christian Services. I'll give them a call this coming week to get actual counts, so we can get counts for the actual for the drive itself, since it's still on. So,
Okay.
but it is up and running. I mean, there's been a lot of generous donors even buying us brand new coats and sending them in. So
Anthony, I don't know if a lot of people know that we have a lot of coats for children. You know? And I don't know how we could announce it so they could go there and pick them up, because we're running out of space too. We have a lot of coats.
yes, Tony, I will actually send out emails, and I will probably get our Parks and Recreation Department to put it on the Facebook website.
Okay.
To let them know that Christian Services does have a lot of coats out there for mainly children, or is it
Yes.
adults as well?
May I make a recommendation? Maybe call the principals from the schools, especially the young ones, the elementary and the preschool, and just let them know that.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
they'll make an announcement on the PA, or they'll give a little note to the parents.
Absolutely. This is good. This is good information. We can definitely pass it out to the school principals and stuff, so they can get the word out, being that Tony has notified us that there's a lot and they need to be distributed. So yes, I will actually get on that this week and start calling around to get that information dispersed to the public. We're getting them in. We just need to get them out now, so that's good. The flyer's been out there, so, and it's a good thing that people have donated. Now we just need to get them distributed, so that's good. I figured people would have already known that they were available since the flyers were out there, but we'll get it back out there for everybody. Good idea, Sherry. Anybody else have anything on that one? Any questions?
Well, if I remember correct, one of the discussions was that maybe let different churches know about it,
Okay,
and they can announce it. to
I could do
the
that too.
parishioners.
Call the churches.
I don't know if it was done or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of churches giving food out and whatnot, so I can actually get the information to them as well. Maybe they could put a flyer out when they serve this food. Because I know there's a lot of need out there for these warm coats, and there's a lot of nice ones.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of nice coats in there, expensive brands too. So that's pretty cool that people actually donate these items. Is there anybody else that has any input or questions? No? Okay.
I guess I have one question, and that would be, we didn't set this closing date. I mean, there's been very few items in the collection bin since Christmas. There's been one since January 4th. One item.
Which bin was this that you were taking care of?
Albertsons.
Albertsons. Yes, and we had received a lot, and we had wondered why they kind of stopped. And the actual date that's on the flyers and everything through January 18th, it's on the bin. So I don't know what happened. I think everybody just loaded what they had and just didn't have any more. I don't know. But we can.
What I was suggesting is next year we don't carry it on so long. It doesn't, people seem to be very generous up to Christmas, and then they're all off doing something else now.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve, the actual, and that's good input there. The thing about it is that with the Corporation for National and Community Services, they want this drive to actually be on Martin Luther King Day, which is November 8th or January 18th of this year. So for us to have a drive that's just on that day would be kind of pointless because we probably wouldn't get as many as we had. That's why we took the liberty years ago to actually have it over a couple of weeks. So that way we'd get a lot more coats, because just having a service on that one day, unless we plan something else to actually distribute them the next year, get them all cleaned and have them housed at the community center and have a certain date to where people can come and pick them up. That's the only other option we'd have, because it has to run on that day, being that it's observing Martin Luther King Day.
That makes sense.
What are your all's thoughts? What do you think, Steve?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you have any over the 18th, especially from the churches, like Soila was saying, that one of the ideas that we had was to contact churches so they could make an announcement to their congregation, and maybe they would then bring in coats there and that could be dropped off to the center. So we didn't do that. Apparently we didn't do that. And Judy was going to call us, or she may have done it herself. I don't know. But a lot of churches are not meeting right now, so that could have been that many churches were not meeting because of the COVID.
Possibly, yes. But yes, we can, like I said, I'll definitely get with the churches and the schools to see what we can do about that. We can discuss this further to see, come up with ideas what y'all think for next year, because I agree, it fell off after a while. I think everybody unloaded their stuff that they had and didn't have no more, or people were in town, and when the season stopped, everybody left, and that was it. Because it did fall off there in the end. So we can come up with ideas, just brainstorm for the next couple meetings, and see what we can come up with to better get this better around this time of year. Yeah, it's that's what this whole drive is about, the Martin Luther King Day of Service. So that's why we actually got a report on it on that day, what the numbers are and stuff. So do y'all agree that we discuss this further and come up with, brainstorm some ideas next couple meetings?
Yes, a good idea. Yes.
What are your thoughts, Steve? That's fine. I just was pointing out we weren't getting any donations after Christmas, but we don't have to check the bin as frequently either, okay?
Yeah, exactly. That could be an idea for next time. We don't have to check them, but, every couple weeks. This is the first year we actually put bins in front of the stores, because we used to have the Optimist Club that would do it, Christian Services. And so we had a lot more since Optimist Club hasn't been meeting, or we started doing the bins, and the bins turned out to be really good. Judy came up with that idea, or the board came up with that idea, whatever. it turned out to be really good for that program. So yeah, so we definitely want to keep that one going.
I would like to see more bins next year, maybe at the casino if possible, the one out on Highway 70.
Absolutely. We can try to get with the Mescalero tribe and see if they would actually do it for us. Good ideas. Okay, so if anybody else, anybody else has any input, we can go on to the next discussion. The next item on the agenda is discussion regarding the Corporation for National and Community Service Semi-Annual Progress Report that is due on January 30th, 2021. That is the CNCS one. This report here that Judy left, I actually started doing it and I actually completed it and have already submitted it.
Right on.
It was hard to catch up where she left off, and her reports were due, and I'm like, oh my God, because I had to just go through all of her information and figure it out. But the reporting went really well. The deal about it is that there was only, for the half the year, there was only 83 volunteers that served in 6 stations. And then Judy had actually got all of the MOUs, the memorandums of understandings with each station manager. She got those all updated, so all of those are updated, so that's good. And then number of potential volunteers that we have is 1. I do have an application for 1 volunteer that hasn't served yet. So as soon as that person, I don't recall where that station was at. I want to say it was the food bank. As soon as they start serving, then we'll get another volunteer on board. But there's still a lot of active volunteers in the system. There's just only 83 served because of the COVID and all the other stations being shut down, and then a lot of volunteers left. So yeah, so that report has been submitted. So I'm way on top of that one. I was trying to get it done, and
Wasn't due till 1:30.
yeah, so I was on it. I have so much going on that I thought I needed to get this one out of the way and then the other one. So yeah, that has been submitted. So if anybody has any questions, we can open that now. Or any input on it? Anyone? Okay, so then on to the next item is the discussion regarding the Aging and Long-Term Services Department fiscal year semi-annual narrative report that is due February 1st. It's same type of reporting. It just, that one is that's, so with that one is due January 30th, but same thing. I went ahead and did that one and got that one out of the way as well.
Okay.
I reported on all the stuff there. We are, with all of our primary focus area stuff, we are way on task with whatever we had certain goals to meet for 3 years, and then they extended our grant another year.
Good.
So we upped the goals that we had, and we're either exceeding them or we've met them or we've exceeded our goals for the year, for the 4-year period. So, with that said, we're way on top of things. Being that the COVID hit and everything, we still had so many volunteer hours and so many volunteers that we were able to meet our performance measures and our goals. So our program is strong. We have a lot of people out there that help us out in this community, especially ones that come into town from out of town that have second homes here. So we were able to be on task with it, and we're blessed that we actually projected the way we did, because had we not, man, we'd have been hurting a little bit. But no, that report is done, so it's submitted and on its way. Of course, the corporation and the Aging and Long-Term Services, they have to approve these, make sure they're all good, and we discuss that on the next meeting to say the conclusion of it and the outcome for it. So yeah, so there's that one. Anybody have any input or questions on it?
Great, that's wonderful.
On task here. Okay.
Yeah, job of things.
If there are no more questions or input, we'll move on to the next item. The discussion of the quarterly RSVP program statistics. See, the last 2 were just semi-annual, like the last 6 months. This one was for the last quarter, so I will kind of elaborate on that one a little more. Last quarter, July through September, we had 68 volunteers. This quarter, October to December, we still had the same number, 68. So the same number of volunteers were still serving. And then the new number of volunteers that we had this quarter was 8. We actually had 8 more sign up, even though the COVID pandemic has had its ways with us. So 8 more signed up. But it also last quarterly report, there was 21 volunteers that exited the program because of the COVID and because people not coming back to town that had second homes here. And of course, there was a few of them that had health issues.
28 left from July through September?
21.
21, okay.
But this quarter that I just reported on, only 5 had left the program. So we upped it with 8 that entered the program, and now 5 have left. So we're still 3 ahead there, even though, there's a lot of those volunteers that will come back if this pandemic, stops or declines. Maybe we'll get a lot of these volunteers back. So hopefully. The number of hours served, however, was lower this quarter. There was only 1,525 hours served, which was like 800 lower than last quarter. And the quarterly report asked for a number of outreach activities. The only outreach activity we did was just putting it on the radio that we needed the volunteers to serve at Meals on Wheels, and I think it was Food Bank and Christian Services. I believe that they announced it all, that they would to ask for volunteers to help, especially Meals on Wheels, because they're low on volunteers there. So
It always drops off in the winter because it's dangerous, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, it does. With the snow and the ice and stuff, and even being out in the cold, a lot of seniors don't want to be out there volunteering. So it usually declines in the winter, but I think a lot of it had to do with COVID as well, because there's a lot more stricter guidelines that have been set forth now. And a lot of stations are shut down, so serving isn't so easy these days. So maybe, hopefully, we can get it back on track eventually. So yeah, that was the quarterly report. Let's see if there was anything else on that I had. Yeah, so those are just numbers to report, and that one actually was due, I think it was due January 30th as well, and I've submitted that one as well. So that one's ready to go, ready for them to overlook it and let me know if there's anything wrong. But, we've reported that the number reflects because of COVID pretty much. And I think the state and the feds, they know that the COVID is going to have a bad adverse effect on our programs throughout the whole state, and the country. So that's submitted. So if anybody has any questions or input on that one, we can open that for that time. Nothing? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is discussion of RSVP coordinator retirement and vacant position. Judy Sarabia retired December 31st, so the position has finally been posted on the village website and on the out there to the public, so that way we can actually get that position filled. And it's only been out there, I would say, a week and a half. So we've gotten one application that came in and interviewed really well. There was one person that was supposed to interview yesterday, but they, when it came time, they decided they didn't want to interview. There is another person that's going to interview for the position today at 1:00. So we'll have 2 potentials, and it'll still run up through the middle of next week, I believe. So maybe we'll get more applicants, but hopefully we can fill that position with somebody as good as Judy, because Judy really took care of that position really well. She was good.
Yeah.
You've seen her; she was thorough. So hopefully I can train them good enough like her, and we can follow her work and get it going just as good as she did.
So where are the applications?
You can get them off of the Village of Ruidoso website. That's where you apply. And it's actually out there. If you Google it for job opportunities in the Ruidoso area, you can pull it up like that as well. You know, we used to post the positions inside Village Hall and inside the community center, but since we're closed, not a lot of public see them, so it's just out there in the public, actually, on the website. So yeah, hopefully we can get somebody to take that place soon. I was hoping to get them in faster so they could learn while I was relearning, because I had to relearn a lot of this stuff since it's been so long.
Well, you sure did it, well, quickly.
Yeah, I've done it before, and I've been right there with Judy the whole time, so I knew,
Yeah. You
I knew
trained
the
her.
ins and outs of what needed to be done. I just needed to figure out where she was at. So, and she did leave me with a lot of information, and we were back and forth with a lot of stuff, so she was good at transitioning for me. I give her that. A lot of people would have just left and said bye, but she was good. She took care of us before she left. So if anybody has any questions about that, can open that up now.
So what are you interviewing, men and women, or what are the possible?
It's for men or women. Yes, the person that we interviewed 2 days ago was a woman, and the guy that stepped out of it yesterday was a guy, and then today at 1 o'clock is another woman, I believe.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. Any other questions or input?
What, do you know what the salary is, the incoming salary?
The salary begins at $12.88 per hour now. But I'll talk about the other in the new or old business.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions about that?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is new or old business. The new business that I have is, and we'll actually put it on it'll be more out there so I can actually get documents on it, but I did a grant application for the next 3 years, and we were actually awarded more money from the feds.
That's great.
So we're gonna be able to offer more for the volunteers and for the pay rate on the RSVP coordinator. So, once I get all that finalized and the budget's reviewed and put money where it needs to be, the funding where it needs to be, we'll be able to discuss that further, those things, there's only certain ways you can use it, but I think volunteer recognition and volunteer, helping the volunteer out is a good idea.
And what was the amount of the grant that you applied for and received?
The amount of the grant that I applied for was, the feds gave us 75,000
That's great. For the year?
it's every year.
Uh-huh.
So,
That's great.
like I
So
said, a lot
every
of,
year you'll get 75,000? Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, so,
They usually just do it,
we're gonna be able to, put the RSVP position, having them handle a lot more of the stuff. Plus like I said, a lot of the Village of Ruidoso was taking care of a lot of the funding for some of the recognition stuff, and, so, we'll be able to use the grant for that as well. We'll be able to discuss those grant items.
you've done great.
Yeah, it's gonna open it up for a lot, so if this pandemic declines, then we could really open it up, I mean. So yeah, so that was a good one. That was the new business I had as far as everything, yeah.
I have a question, Anthony. Are we gonna be meeting here all the time now?
Yeah, see, and that would be in this part of it. Actually, we will be meeting here until further notice, so the next meeting should be here, but I will let
The
everybody.
one in April?
Yes,
Okay.
because next meeting will be April 14th, 2021.
Uh-huh.
So,
Will it be at the
yes,
same
we will be
time?
meeting here until further notice. This should be the spot unless
Okay.
things open up a little more, then we can meet without this social distancing and whatnot. So, yeah,
Will
so,
it be at 11 o'clock also, Anthony?
Yes, it'll be 11 o'clock. You know, then again, there is, I need to schedule this next meeting. It's not for sure that it's on that date.
Okay,
Because since there's so many meetings in here, that's why we had to have it on Friday this time.
okay.
Because Wednesday was full, Thursday was full, and, you know, they had barely set this up to do it like this. So I was even thinking we were gonna have to cancel, but since I saw the council meeting like this, I thought, there we go. But depending on their schedule, because they have, like I said, council meetings, they have wastewater meetings, Keep Redoso, they have meetings every day. So I'm gonna have to see where it fits into the schedule, and but I will let everybody know way ahead of the game on that.
Okay.
So that's all I have. If anybody else has anything.
Once they give us the go for, let's call it this, after this pandemic is taken care of, do you plan to go back to kind of the same things that we had, like the breakfast on Fridays and programs for seniors to exercise in the morning, if you still have the volunteer to teach, or is it going to be a whole different?
Yeah, well, it just
Have you planned ahead or not?
It depends on how much we open up. You know, the Village of Ruidoso right now is coming up with the strategic plan for all of this stuff, and everybody's been talking back and forth about how we can do things differently, and because they know that it's everything, no matter how much we open up, things are going to be done different. So I don't know. As far as the center is concerned, even the Ruidoso Down Center, we're just like in limbo, wondering what the guidance is going to be next. So yeah, that just remains to be seen. I don't know.
Okay.
We had a lot of volunteers in both stations, so even the museums, there's volunteers there. So we don't have them there either, so that's even bad there. So once we are able to open up as a community center, I'm sure all of those places will be able to open up too, so that'd be good for everybody. So yeah, so I don't know.
Everybody, they're raring to go.
No, yeah.
Is there a plan for the tax people to come around this year?
The tax prep for RSVP, it's one of our stations. We are in talks right now, trying to I've sent the proposal to the Village of Ruidoso to try to get it opened up on an appointment-based deal. So people can come in, they have an appointment, hand in their paperwork, they take it, they fill out their paperwork, call them back, and then they come and pick up the stuff, sign. We have the proposal in to the Village of Ruidoso, and I know that the Village of Ruidoso usually has to go higher up than that to ask for permission. I'm hoping we can, because they did them last year before under the same circumstances in the same manner, and it worked. So I'm hoping. I'm not sure though. I'm just still waiting there too. But I've sent in the proposal a while back,
Okay.
so I'm waiting to see what they say, because tax people are calling in every day. When is taxes? When is taxes? And I keep telling them, call me back. I keep postponing it. Call me back next week. Call me back next week.
Yeah,
So
because you have to hear back.
yeah, so that is one of our volunteer stations, and we definitely need those hours because of the numbers they put out there.
How do they handle the non-speaking English people?
Usually
They're
there's
literate to filling out paperwork and all that.
a gentleman there that actually speaks Spanish, and he helps them.
Okay,
But if
so that'll
not,
be helpful.
we also have our own tech there at the center, Debbie. She actually will sit down and help people fill the paperwork out and talk
Oh, okay, good,
them
good,
through
good.
it as well. So we have the resources at the center to do it.
Okay, Anthony, one of the questions that a lot of people ask me, I'm at Christian Services, when are you guys going to open? I say, we're going to open when they tell us we can open. I can't tell you next month or next week or what.
Right.
And if, we'll open, like I told them, when they say you can open,
Yeah.
Anthony will, I guess he'll let you know.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, as things
Right
become-
now, I don't know when they're going to open, period.
Right, I know that the state of New Mexico is on a red to green deal, and since we're still in the red as of Wednesday, I mean, once we hit yellow, people just need to monitor that on the Department of, isn't it on Department of Health, I think? Department of Health website, where you can see the status of the state every 2 weeks. That gives you more of an idea, okay, we're getting closer to being okay.
Dennis and Stoney, they say, hey, when are you guys going to feed us again? I said, I don't know.
I know. And Mills, I mean, I wanted to get the center open, and I requested it a while back before we got shut down again, to let the center open for the fitness side of it. because there's a lot of seniors out there that use the center for fitness, just like the athletic clubs. And then we got shut down again, so they said, don't even ask. So hopefully now if we get to a yellow or green, I can request that again to at least open to the fitness side of it.
Yeah, and if everybody gets their vaccines.
Yeah, and then the food. I think the food is going to be later than the rest of it, but hopefully something can open up. Because there were volunteers running fitness classes at the center as well.
So are older people a priority for the vaccines?
Yeah, I think that's the next, the seniors are the next in line. We actually just went to La Tierra yesterday. I signed up 30 people to get the vaccine yesterday out of La Tierra Apartments, because then people that can't really get out.
Yeah.
They went there and did the vaccine for all of them.
Great.
So I was over there helping them do that. So that was cool. Maybe we'll get more of that. I know Medical Fusion Spa and the Good Life Living Center is the ones that helped put that together. So yeah, it's
So
coming.
do you need volunteers for that?
No, they didn't request it, but as I got there, I saw that. I was like, whoa, it ended up like a little bit, it was a mess.
Yeah.
So we sat down and had to intake people and get their information and make sure they were on the list and get them to do it, and, just guiding people the right way. So yeah, maybe
So
in
you
the
could call
future.
us if you have another one to go, we'd go help.
Okay, awesome. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. So that's the last that's the last thing on the agenda. Does anybody else have any input or questions or anything, or new or old business? Nothing? Steve? Good.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Who seconded?
I second.
Okay, Sherry seconded it? Okay. All right, you all, thank you for your time and coming all the way out this way for this.
A lot of thanks to the city of Ruidoso. I presume they paid for setting all this up. This is very comfortable.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. Jeff back there, he handles it well.
Thank you, Jeff.
You all want to shut your microphones off, if you would?
Yeah.